Hey guys, back again with another episode of Insomniac Sports. With me here on the phone again is Noah. Noah, what's up, buddy?
Nothing much. How about you? I'm happy to be back on.
All right, glad you're here, man. This is a lot more fun with other people on the line, even if they are over the phone.
Yeah, oh, I bet. Yeah, I remember doing mine, and it's so much better with the more people you have.
All right, so last time we did this, it was extremely long, and so we're going to cut back this time. Our first topic we're going to bring up, neither one of us really care a whole lot for the Super Bowl matchup, but it's this weekend. Who you got and why? That's what we'll start off with.
I've got Kansas City mainly because I think the Bills woke them up, and I think that they're not going to lose to, like, Tampa. I don't know if Tampa only beat how much they beat Green Bay by.
It ended up being 8.
Okay, and how much did Kansas City win by against the Bills?
A lot more than 8.
Yeah, so I just think Kansas City is going to do it. I hope the Bucks win it because I just think it'd be really cool to see if like Brady can get 7 with a different team. So I'm rooting for the Bucks, but I think Kansas City's going to pull it out.
Well, I hate Tom Brady, so I'm going for the Chiefs. But it's one of those, like, my heart and soul was ripped out, so I'm not hyped for the Super Bowl this year. And it's like
Yeah,
that every time that my team gets absolutely
right.
railed in the playoffs.
Well, it's like I remember when you guys beat us in 2011 or whatever it was when you guys won the Super Bowl, and the losing in championship weekend, like AFC or NFC championship weekend, is just rough as a fan.
Oh, yeah,
You're
because then you're just
supposed to be
depressed.
excited, but you're just like we were one game away. It's just sad.
And honestly, I'll be honest with a quick mention here. I think Green Bay's window might be done now because they're going to lose guys in the offseason and have to cut guys in the offseason. I don't know. It's not
So
looking
what do you
good.
think happens with Rodgers?
Well, I don't think anything's going to actually happen. I think, he even said early in the season of the Pat McAfee show that it's kind of fun to put things out there and watch the media run with it. And then
Um,
last week, or yeah, last week when he was on there, when Pat didn't know if he was actually going to be on there, he was like, this show's been great because it gives me the opportunity to go out here and silence all the douchebags talking for me. And
that's so funny.
yeah, like quote of the year. And
And
then he
honestly,
was.
that's
Then they were like, "So are you going back?" He's like, "I don't see why in the hell I wouldn't be back." So I don't think he's going anywhere. I think the media just needs something to talk about.
gotcha. Okay, well I mean, no, that sucks for Bear fans to
Well,
know. You want to know your thing? I think the Bears are going to throw like 9 picks at the Texans. That's an exaggeration, but I think we will give up. I think we're going to get him, and I think we're going to give up absolutely everything for him.
I saw your Instagram post earlier that was like, "We gave up 4 firsts, a couple seconds, a third, and a fifth, and now we got him."
Right, and Roquan Smith and Khalil Mack. It was a steal,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh, I could feel Ryan Pace doing this. Him thinking he was a genius.
Well, you know what? Speaking of trades, one big trade just happened. Literally the day after it was announced that it was going to happen before the Super Bowl. Matthew Stafford got out of Detroit and is going to the LA Rams.
So happy for him. So happy.
I'm happy for him too. I've always liked Stafford and I've always felt bad for him that he was on such bad Detroit teams.
Yeah.
He's only been in the playoffs, what, twice? And he lost both those games?
Yeah.
Poor
But
guy.
he's hurt too. And that's the only thing I'm a little worried about. Everybody's like, oh, they're going to win the Super Bowl. He is playing hurt constantly, so I think that is something to think about and maybe pump the brakes on. Where, like, they're for sure going to be amazing next year. Like, obviously, I think they're making the playoffs and at least winning a game again. But if he's hurt, like, he could be out for 8 weeks, and you just never know because he gets hurt so much. Like, he's got back, leg, neck, shoulder, everything.
But every time he comes back, though, he still plays at a high level. So He's a
I
tough
totally
dude.
agree. I love Stafford. I wanted the Bears to get him so bad because I didn't think we'd have to overpay for him. But then when I saw what he went for, I was like, "There's no way we were giving that for Stafford."
So let's talk about he is going to the Rams now. Do you think this is going to be a good fit for him?
Oh yeah, I think Sean McVay's gonna have a blast. I
But
think he's gonna be able to process anything. Like I think Matthew Stafford is like one of the most underrated quarterbacks because somehow he throws for 4,000 yards a season, no matter how many games he plays. So I just think with Sean McVay and the offensive guys they have, I think they're gonna be fine. Like I think it's obviously a step up from Jared Goff. So
okay.
I
Do,
think it's a big one too. If again, if he's healthy, if he's hurt, I don't know. But if he's healthy, I think it was genius.
but they're moving on from a guy who took them to the Super Bowl just a couple years ago.
Yeah, I don't think Goff's as bad as people think. I just if they were so tired of him and couldn't do it, you know, where it's like Trubisky, where it's like, listen, if he's just not their guy and you're refusing to work with what he's good at, you just got to move on. That's what I thought it was with Goff and them. So, because I don't hate Goff, I wouldn't have even been mad with Goff because I think Detroit kind of won the. I think Detroit won the deal because they got all those picks and they've got now a quarterback who I think could easily be a franchise quarterback. It's just he's not going to be like Mahomes or Aaron Rodgers, but I think he's good enough to like. He obviously is good enough to take you to the Super Bowl. So you get some better weapons around him, and maybe in a system that doesn't make your coach annoyed at him, and he can maybe win you the Super Bowl.
Now, the last time we discussed this, we were going through what each team needs in the draft. When we talked about the Rams, we discussed how they need more weapons on the offense because Cooper Kupp cannot be your number one guy.
Right.
Do they have enough there with Stafford to make the difference, or do they still need somebody else?
I still think they need somebody else. Because you've got, well, I mean, look at the teams in their division. You've got the 49ers who, I don't know who they're going to get a quarterback, but whoever they get, I think if Jimmy G comes back, though, they're still easily playoff contenders. And then you've got Arizona, who I think is finally going to be like, okay, we're here next year. So, like, your division's tough, and it's not going to be easy. I think he will get banged up at some point. So I kind of agree they need someone else because I think Matthew Stafford's amazing, but I don't know. I just don't think they're like automatic Super Bowl contenders right away.
Do you think the possibility is there for them to pluck Kenny Galladay as well with him heading into free agency?
I mean, or what's his name? A-Rob. Allen Robinson. Either of them.
Well, I know that's been your go-to guy for all these teams that need receivers, but I was just going through a list earlier today and I saw all the different receivers and I thought, well, he's already got that connection with Galladay.
Yeah, I mean, why not? I would be so happy if I was a Rams fan and they got him. Because I was really thinking, I was like, oh, they'll just draft one. And I was like, no, they won't. Like, don't have it, and they still don't have a first-round pick. So they're going to go 9 years without one.
Yeah, how much of a win is this really for LA though? Because yeah, like you just said, they're not going to have a first round pick until 2024 now.
Yeah, I think well in Detroit, like I said, Detroit now has a young quarterback like that. I again think can win you a Super Bowl, and they've got 4 first round draft picks in the next 2 years, so that's pretty decent. And they got an extra second rounder, right?
Third round.
Under third rounder, like that's dope. I would be very excited if I was a Detroit fan.
So, in your opinion, Detroit won the trade. Do you think LA gave up too much for Stafford?
Yeah, I wouldn't have given up that much. I'm not gonna lie. As much as I love them, like, well, okay, now I understand that they gave him the extra pick because of taking on Jared Goff's contract. Like, I understand that. I just still don't know if I would have given up that much.
So maybe like a first round pick, Goff, and 2 third rounds or a third and a fourth sound more reasonable.
Yeah, I don't know how you give up 2 first-round picks. Because, like, if Deshaun Watson is going for they want 2 first-round picks, 2 second-round picks, and 2 defensive young starters. Like, not saying that they got anything close to that, but I just don't see how Matthew Stafford's 2 first-round picks because of the injury history at his age.
Yeah, we'll have to see how that pans out for them because I think, like you said, that's a huge upgrade for them in LA, but they don't have that top draft capital now to really build anything around him, and it'll have to be all free agency. And I'm pretty sure they're already over the cap limit right now too. So there'll be some
Which,
restructuring going on, and plus they're losing guys too. I mean, I think he's their starting tight end, Gerald Everett, or was it him? Pretty sure it was him. I saw was also in the free agent or free offensive free agent weapons list that I was looking at earlier that could be leaving, as well as Josh Reynolds. So that
gosh, okay.
they'd be
You're right, because if they start losing guys and, like, a tight end's a big safety blanket, and if he's at least consistent and you don't have that consistent guy anymore, that can be a big hiccup for offenses, especially to start early in the year. Even though it's a new quarterback, like, and he's not used to it, if they use him a lot and he can be, like, the safety net, like a lot of times they can be down the middle of the field, it can be interesting.
oh definitely. And I know they already have Tyler Higbee too, but it's always good to have multiple tight ends that can do the job. And then they're losing what is probably their third receiver in Reynolds, or potentially losing their third receiver in Reynolds. So then you have Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp, 2 slot guys. You don't really have that big presence on the outside, and you can't draft it in the first round now either. So,
Yeah. Yeah, it's rough.
well, and like you said too, the division's really tough. You know, Seahawks, Niners,
Yeah, I didn't even
Arizona.
talk about the Seahawks. Yeah. Yeah, God, like every team in that division can make the playoffs.
Yeah, so that could potentially be one of the toughest divisions in the league going forward.
Oh, I think next year has to be the toughest, right? No one in the NFC is close
You don't even
because
think the NFC
Carolina
South?
Ducks make that 3 of the teams are like decent, but or I guess Atlanta. Because okay, here's the thing. I think like we said, Atlanta's going to blow it up, but I think if like they don't necessarily need to, but I think they will because it's probably the best idea long term.
It probably would be a good idea for them to do so, especially with such a high draft pick right now. You know, if you want to
Yeah.
start over and get your guy right here, right now,
Who
go
do you think they're
ahead.
going to take?
You know, if they blow it up, they should 100% take a quarterback of sorts. And
Yeah.
a lot of talk is being said right now that the Jets might land Deshaun Watson for that number 2 pick, or at least part of it. And with that number 2 pick, I've seen mock drafts where most of them don't have Houston taking a quarterback. So that could mean Atlanta could potentially take Justin Fields and bring him home to Georgia and have him be the new guy in Atlanta. But who knows? That's all speculation as of right now. You know, you never know.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, because everything up until draft day is just to get us so excited, and then nobody trades their top picks after all these, like, oh, this could happen, this could happen.
Exactly.
Unless the Bears are there, and then we'll do it. You know, we'll
well,
trade
and
up the guy that would have been there anyway.
well, and then they talk about how the Jets are claiming to be so in on Sam Darnold that Trevor Lawrence could go 1. I've seen Devontae Smith being an option at number 2 for the Jets, and then come number 3 for the Falcons, Justin Fields.
Yeah. We'll see. I've seen Zach Wilson going to the Falcons, the Texans, like anyone. But hey,
Yeah.
I've seen he's consistently top 4 now. Someone is taking him in the top 4.
Yeah, I think it's pretty much what happens at number 1 and 2. What kind of falls after that, because
Yeah.
we know the Bengals are going to take an O lineman. It's been noted that they are real big fans of that Penei Sewell, I believe is how you say it. So Seems like they'll be going for him. Trevor Lawrence obviously going one. So it's kind of like, what do the Jets do? And after that is the domino effect.
Because if the Jets take a QB, or I think if Zach Wilson goes at 2 or 3, who is the third pick? That's the Bengals.
Falcons. Or no, yeah, Bengals and then Falcons are at 4.
Falcons are the 4th, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think if Zach Wilson gets taken before the 4th pick, that it's going to go crazy. The quarterback market is just going to go nuts.
Oh, for sure.
Because, if, the Jets panic and take Justin Fields, and then I think that could make everyone start going crazy, too.
Oh, for sure.
Like I said, I think Justin Fields is going to drop because I think he's going to suck. I would not take him. Ohio State quarterbacks don't do well.
I saw a mock draft today. I had a lot of time on my hands at work today. And I was looking through some mock drafts and stuff. I saw one where Justin Fields doesn't get taken until, pick 20. Somewhere around there is what it was.
Guess who pick 20 is?
I don't even remember.
The Bears.
See, there you go.
The Bears. If we draft Justin Fields, if he falls and we draft him, I'm going to be so sad.
Well, then it's a whole new story. He's great then, huh?
Yeah, no, we'll have to do a draft show because I can't wait to just come on here all sad and just explain why every single one of Ryan Pace's picks is going to put us in the dumpster. Yep.
Well, we'll definitely do that. I'm pretty sure I've consistently done a draft show every year that I've done this, except maybe last year. I don't remember. But, yeah, the draft shows usually go over really well.
Well, just wait till the Bears pick up to Justin Fields, and just wait. It'll be awesome.
I've been seeing Trey Lance to Carolina a lot lately.
I've seen him to Detroit before Carolina.
Well, and I was seeing Fields to Detroit a lot recently too, so who knows. But now that they have their ordeal settled, but we can kind of go in on that a little bit later.
I think they're drafting a quarterback no matter what.
Okay.
I think they're going to be like, Goff, can you do this? Even though I don't think they're betting on Goff whatsoever, and then they're drafting a QB. That's every report I've seen from Detroit is they're getting going with a quarterback, and they're going to start drafting help in the second round. And now that they've got 2 first-round picks, why not draft a quarterback at 7 and then go grab somebody later?
See, and that's what I was thinking too, but then I looked today, the first-round picks are next year and in 2023.
Oh, that makes a big difference. Well, then, yeah, I'd get the quarterback this year then, because you got a guy you get your quarterback, you got a guy that in Jared Goff where you can just see what happens. I mean, if you don't sign Kenny Galladay, it's going to be rough for anybody out there, regardless who it is.
Oh, for sure.
Even if you draft some help, I think it another receiver with their first pick. But the 2 best receivers, Jamar Chase and what's-his-face, are going to be gone. So I don't know why you draft another receiver that early. I don't really know another receiver that's worthy of another top 10. Do you?
No, I don't think so. I mean, a lot of people are trying to say Jalen Waddle deserves to be in that top 10 too, but I don't know
he's still hurt right now.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's still hurt. He technically played in the national championship, but he looked terrible.
Through the championship.
Yeah, he limped through the whole thing, and so many people were telling.
To watch because it was literally you got to take him out.
Yeah.
It was very obvious that he could not do that.
I bet he thought he was going to be like T.O. in the Super Bowl and with the Eagles and come back, with the broken leg and be amazing, and then he got out there and was like, "Oh man, this is hard.
This is still really broken."
Yeah.
Isn't that nice?
That brings me to the next point that I wanted to get to with the whole Stafford trade is, does Goff even pan out in Detroit?
I think he's going to play very similar to... I think he's going to play a little better than people think, but not as good, not good enough to, want them to keep him.
That makes sense.
I think he's going to be perfectly fine. that is exactly how I feel Jared Goff is going to play. Completely fine.
See, and then what I thought was funny was people talking about him going to the north, being in cold weather areas. Well,
he
really
plays in a dome for 2 out of the 4. He only plays outside in Green Bay and Chicago.
Yeah, 2 games a year. And then depending on who else is on the schedule, you might get Seattle or New York or something thrown in there. But for a chunk of your schedule, division games, you have 2 games outside.
Yeah, and then half the teams in the NFL have nice weather, so you got a 25% chance of having another cold game.
Pretty much. I mean, you really only have to worry about Seattle, Green Bay, and Chicago, Pittsburgh, Philly, New England.
New York teams.
Yeah, the New York teams. That's pretty much it. That's like 8 teams.
Yeah. Yeah, because Minnesota and Detroit are in domes.
Yep.
Yeah, that's insane.
Do you think he has the potential to be a hardcore system QB guy like Nick Foles? And what I mean by that is, we saw in Nick Foles' first round with the Eagles, he looked like he was going to be their guy. He broke a record for most touchdown passes in a single game. They were in the playoffs. Everything looked great. And then Chip Kelly came in and they were like, nah, we're gonna do something else here. He went to the Rams and was terrible. He was with the Chiefs for
Jeff Fisher Rams.
Well, true, yeah. Jeff Fisher Rams was terrible.
7-9.
But then he went to the Chiefs for an offseason, and everybody said he was really bad there, too. And then he goes back to the Eagles, and he wins them a Super Bowl.
Yep. I think they should have kept... I mean, I said it when the debate was happening. They're like, if you're the Eagles, who do you keep? And I was like, Nick Foles. I was like, who cares? Carson Wentz is amazing. If you got your guy, you got your guy.
True. I kind of was leaning the same way because both times he's been in Philly, he's played really well. And he goes anywhere else and he's bad. I mean, we didn't really get to see a whole season out of him in Jacksonville, but you got to see it in Chicago this year. He wasn't that great.
What I think it's like is when your mom really likes a girl, and you're like, I don't know, you guys are the perfect fit, but you say no because a hotter girl's hitting you up, and which was Carson Wentz, and then you see what happens, and your mom ends up being right, in the long run. that's how I feel the Nick Foles situation and the Eagles situation went down.
And I hate when that situation happens.
Yep, because then you look back at it and you're like, man, things were really great, and she was perfect. It's just rough.
Yep.
Probably because they went to the playoffs with them again, and they almost won that game. I didn't even bounce in the first round, but it was a very close game that anyone could have won or lost.
Yeah.
So it was oh, dude, that's sad. That's sad for Nick Foles.
Well, no, it wouldn't be first round because the year after when Carson Wentz got hurt again and they had Foles for the playoffs is you probably erased that from your memory as much as possible, but it was the double doink.
Oh, yeah, no, I know, yeah. Oh, I get reminded of it every year. It pops up on the Sports Center Instagram. This was this many days since the double doink.
Yep.
I think we're going on year 3 now. Will be the next one.
Yeah, so then it was the game after that is where it was a close game that they lost in the playoffs with Foles. But, yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see because a lot of these, spread offense type of guys, it seems like if they get away from that, they don't know what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I agree.
So, let's throw out a couple hypothetical situations here. How do you think they do if they go with Goff for this year and maybe next year? Because I think he has 2 or 3 years left on his contract. And then either trade him again or just kind of release him because they draft somebody this year like Justin Fields or Zach Wilson or Trey Lance.
Well, I think it's completely possible, and is what will probably happen. That's what I think. I literally think they took this guy just so they could get the extra picks and be like, honestly, we can make it work with the cap, and we're not going to be anything anyway, so let's get a guy that's making a bunch of money and just ride out his contract while we rebuild.
I kind of feel like that's what's going to happen too, because I think that's going to. I have a feeling that's what's going to happen too, because with a new coach, you have this high first round pick. Why not say, hey, why don't you draft your guy and get him ready? And when this guy's contract's up, well, your guy's up.
Right. And, like, if he proves it, great, but, like, they don't seem like they're banking on him proving it.
No.
So who cares?
Well, then we go to, what if they just cut Goff, like, next week? and just
Dude, that'd be kind of funny.
Just
I think it'd be kind of pointless, though. Like,
yeah, well, cut Goff, just eat the contract, but draft your guy at number 7 and run with it.
well, why wouldn't you let this guy, like, sit back so he doesn't just start getting hit when he's 22 and wait till he's, like, 24 to start getting hit?
Because it's Detroit.
Like, okay, that's completely valid. Like, that's a totally valid argument, but that's not what I would do.
No, that's not what I would do either, but it's Detroit. Right. We'll see. I mean, their new coach was talking about ripping off kneecaps with their teeth, so...
I cannot wait to see this new head coach.
He'll be interesting. I thought maybe it was going to happen a few years ago when he was with Miami and everybody was making the memes about him being PC principal from South Park.
Right.
I thought they were going to meme him into a job, but didn't quite happen. But now it happened, so we'll see. So, okay, and then the other hypothetical situation. How do you think it would turn out if they just said screw it and they just ran with Goff as their starting QB for the foreseeable future and used these draft picks to build for him? Do you think they could be a contender in like 4 years?
Yeah, well, I think they'd be pretty good. If they got it right. Like, if they really hit on all their draft picks, I think they would be very, very good.
And of course, along with anybody, that's a big if to hit on draft picks.
What?
And of course, like with everybody, that's a big if to hit on all those draft picks. I saw a article today that was how close is every team to at least making it to the Super Bowl, and Detroit was in the 4 to 5 years at the minimum or at the max range.
Like the minimum time to get there.
Yeah, like if they do all the right things and all the things pan out for them, 4 to 5 years could be their payday.
Right.
But that's if all the things happen.
Yeah, so they're sending their fans through a whole nother year, like life through college before they're ever going to be anything.
Yep. Which is sad for Detroit fans because they've struggled through so much for so long.
In the division, if I got to root for anybody, I root for Detroit.
I do too because I hate Minnesota, and of course Chicago's like our Green Bay's big rival, so I don't necessarily hate the Bears, like hate, but I don't like them. I don't like them at all. But like Detroit's kind of like the little brother that's like, aw, you guys won 10 games, how cute, you still didn't win the division.
No, it drives me crazy.
The heartbreak started in the 90s when Brett Favre in his first Super Bowl, or not his first Super Bowl, his first playoff series with Green Bay, just dropping that like 50-yard dime to Sterling Sharp to kill the Lions season. That was the last time they were actually like really good.
Yeah. Well, because every time the Matthew Stafford teams got into the playoffs, you knew nothing was happening.
No, because the defense was either really bad or the offense was literally willed there by Stafford. And that it literally happened twice. You know, it was like, what, 2011?
Dark seasons.
Yeah, it was like 2011 and 2013 or something like that, and they lost in the wild card round both times.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah. The one year that I thought that they could really do it was when they got the Saints in the wild card round. I thought maybe they'd be able to pull that one off because I didn't think the Saints were really that good that year. But because I think that was 2013, I want to say. But
Gotcha.
yeah, I didn't think the Saints were that good, but they had the 4 seed and they were taking on Detroit, and I thought Detroit had the opportunity to win a playoff game for the first time since like 1990.
Yeah, that would
And
have been so dope,
not,
especially for their fans.
oh man, there. I saw a good point brought up today. Or it was Darius Slay. He tweeted, "Man, why didn't they do this with Calvin Johnson or Barry Sanders?"
Yeah,
I feel like Barry Sanders is a good enough guy though that he wouldn't have wanted to go to anybody else anyways.
he would have just wanted to stay and finish there.
Yeah, like he did, but I feel like Calvin Johnson 100% would have gone to like the Patriots and tried to win a ring.
Yeah, yeah.
And then
Well,
as
I think
soon as he does, retire.
he was never going to get out of Detroit, and then they just pushed him away from football.
Yeah, that's the sad part about it because he was so good, and they were just like, "Hey, we're not letting you go anywhere."
Yeah, that's got to be sad.
If only those early 2010 Lions teams had like a good defense, and they had a defensive head coach with Jim Schwartz too, and like it always seemed to be their defense that let them down because they were pretty decent with Stafford and Megatron. They never really had a run game though, which definitely hurt them. But they had a couple decent tight ends, so it's like they have a decent team. They just can't get it together.
Yeah. And they had a quarterback, and that's the crazy part too. If they had the quarterback to do it, and they still couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, because for a lot of teams, that's the big piece that they need is the
Right.
quarterback, and they have had that since whenever Stafford got drafted. Was that 2008?
Yeah, whatever. I don't even remember what it was.
It was 2008 or 2009, I want to say. But yeah, they've had their guy for 10 years,
Yeah.
and they
Oh
had
my-
other parts, and they just couldn't make it happen.
And how many head coaches they put that man through?
I can think of like 4 off the top of my head.
Offensive coordinators, like that had to just be awful.
I really thought Jim Bob Cooter was the one. Strictly based on name alone, but
I mean, how can you lose with that name?
oh man. Well, so far there hasn't been any other really big trades that have happened, but there's been a couple head coaching hires. Which one do you think is going to be the best going into next year?
Yeah, it's hiring that guy from San Francisco. That dude on the sideline looked like a head coach. He is going to kill it.
Robert Saleh.
He is going to kill it. I thought that was a genius hire by them.
I was shocked that Houston apparently didn't even interview him.
I wasn't because Houston is so awful.
Well, yeah, they're really showing how dumb they are right now. But
Yeah.
out of all the teams that needed a head coach going into this next season, I would have thought that Houston would be like the place to go. You have Deshaun Watson and J.J. Watt, whereas the other teams that need somebody is the Falcons, who just went like 3-13, the Jets,
The Jags.
that are terrible, the Jags. I mean, the Jags at least, I don't think they're that bad of a team. They just don't seem to have it together right now.
But the thing is, they won't play Gardner Minshew because they want Trevor Lawrence because Gardner Minshew would like win them enough games to not be in contention for Trevor Lawrence.
I hope Gardner Minshew is able to get out of there and go somewhere else where he can actually like get an opportunity.
I've seen a bunch of stuff where he goes to Chicago.
That would be
As
interesting.
back.
That would be interesting. I think he would definitely flourish elsewhere.
I do too.
I loved him in college, and
I do. Who didn't love that mustache?
oh my gosh, even Mike Leach was wearing the stash.
I know. It was awesome.
Well, it's been about 30 minutes, so we'll go ahead and call it on that one. Noah, thanks again, my man, for being here. Hopefully we can get some more interesting things happening and have some good topics to talk about in the coming days or weeks.
Yeah, I can't wait.
All right, and that'll do it for another episode of Insomniac Sports. Catch us again next time, guys.
Yes, thanks for having me on.